All right, so hello everyone. Welcome back to a brand new price action study. So here we are. All right, Nasdaq, S&P right here, right? But first, let's go ahead and look at the news drivers. What do we have today? Absolutely nothing on Tuesday. So let's go ahead now. The news drivers are light this week. We actually have no high impact news drivers, but we are just coming off the heels of a holiday. So let's see how price action went. Has my bias changed on these higher time frames? Nope, still bullish. Nope, still bullish, right? How about the weekly? Nope, still bullish. And back to ES, still bullish. No reason to expect lower prices as of yet. So let's now go down to the higher time frame chart. Is there anything new to say about this chart? All right. So here's today's candle, closing higher, closing above buy side, and I said in my last video that very clearly I expected price to drive towards this high because it was just inching, but it hadn't reached there just yet. And we'll focus on this on a lower time frame so you can see what I'm saying. But for ES and NQ, it's the same idea. And here's the daily. So the daily candle closed higher. Another bullish day. So really not much else to say on that. Here's what I was mentioning. This was the draw on liquidity. This is what I pointed out yesterday, right? This old high. Price did trade to that. Took that level of buy side. And so what I kind of mentioned here is price was not respecting this in the form of this being the last up close before the down move. It wasn't respecting this as an order block. It's not even respecting this as a rejection block. And part of the reason here is, again, because we have a underlying bullish tone in the market. Now we may see these seek and destroy conditions where price moves from buy side to sell side, buy side to sell side, and we'll continue seeing if that plays out. But this was the draw on liquidity that I called out yesterday. That was correct. All right, how about for NQ? All right, it's the exact same thing. Nothing has changed. Okay. So that's on the 4 hour. So we move from the daily. We have our higher time frame bias. Now we're on the 4 hour. Right, looking at what price has done. And the very first thing I notice is NQ took this level of buy side here. ES took this level of buy side here. Let's go look at the weekly range now. Start delineating the days. Go 1 a.m. It's not right though. I want it for 12 a.m. There we go. All right, so as you can see, what I mentioned here is that price created these relative equal lows above a higher time frame level of buy side. So we have these lows created here. This aggressive move down here. Why is it going down here? Well, to sweep these stops, sell stops below here. And then after there was stops down here from this aggressive movement, where do traders have trailed their stops? Well, at an old high, of course. So price moves back to that. Now we've taken that level of buy side. We've taken a higher time frame level of buy side. So in terms of talking about where is the next round liquidity, we look at this old low. We look at this old low. We look at this old low, and I can guarantee you that we will see price start moving towards those lows now that we have taken out that high. That level of buy side has been taken, so we can expect some form of rejection. How about here for NQ? Oh, NQ. Same exact thing. Not a single different thing here. Okay, there we go. So, just looking at the weekly range. All right, and we keep in mind that even though these candles, we're having these bullish days, right? We understand where is price really staying, and we'll see it. I mean, if it just doesn't move aggressively from here, because we're in a consolidation, this sideways price action, it's not obvious on the higher time frames, but if you look here, is price doing this where it moved aggressively in one direction? No, it's moving to the side. It's not really showing any aggressive movement in either direction, which is a consolidation. Same thing here, right? And we can see these seek and destroy conditions, which will be confirmed if we continue for these lows. And the reason I'm expecting price to consolidate is because we're at a old higher time frame high. So short positions that were accumulated down here, they will now be distributed above an old high, right? And additionally, it's not just going to, they're not just going to sell all their positions at once. They're going to do this sideways staggering movement. But when we talk about in terms of where are the pending orders now, people that trust these lows as levels that will hold up price, they've trailed their stops below here. They've seen, oh, price is going to continue higher, right? They're not thinking of what I'm referring to in terms of seasonal tendency, holding a bias from a higher time frame. They're not necessarily thinking like that. So let's go now. That's for NQ. That's for ES. Right, we're bullish on all these time frames. We've outlined what I'm expecting in terms of a consolidation, and that's really all there is to say about that. Now, if we go down to the lower time frame, so the last one. All right, perfect. So now we have this loaded, and we'll note the daily high and low. I won't do that on today's video, but we are going to look at how price moves today for sure. So there we go, 12 a.m. Okay. Boom. Right here. Almost there. 12 a.m. Right here. Boom. Right. And again, what do you see on the 15-minute here? Does this look like prices showing a willingness to move in any direction, or does it look like it's targeting these highs, targeting these lows back here? After it takes those lows, then it starts moving into a buy program. Why is it moving into a buy program? To take these previous highs. I mean, we're looking at a weekly range. We're looking at the day the high and low formed, and now we've taken out the high from the last week, which this is on Wednesday, something we outlined yesterday. This is the weekly high and low, both formed on Wednesday. And additionally, we look here at NQ. You see the same thing, right? Obviously, anything can look like a trend, but if we really look at the data here, price is remaining around these same levels. And as I mentioned, while we are bullish and we're going to continue to expect higher prices, these lower time frames can see bearish retracements, and we can see movement downwards. Again, the idea here is that we don't have any liquidity. Liquidity has been exhausted, not only on a higher time frame level, but now here. And so, price is going to seek liquidity. If ICT is right in what he's saying, price is going to seek these lows. It's going to seek these lows. It's going to seek these lows and these lows. And why? Because there's pending orders below here in the form of sell stops. Even here, there's sell side liquidity below each of these lows. And that's where the algorithm is going to refer to when it thinks of where it wants to drive price next. It's going to refer to this low. It's going to refer to this low. It's going to refer to this low. So these are just the levels of liquidity that we're looking at in terms of seasonal shifts. It's not something that changes every day. I mean, that's a macro, or that's not. I shouldn't say macro because it's not really a macro study, but it's a long-term analysis when we study that. So that's why I don't refer to it every day. But anyways, to simplify, today we had another bullish day, continuing to see higher prices with no reason to expect prices to go lower, going to my level of liquidity. To finalize this, here's the new expected DOL. Here, 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 and here. Okay? And these different levels of liquidity are the only possible levels that I can expect price to draw to, because in terms of where price is now, it's the highest it's ever been. And if you look at the continuous, look. Show me at one point where price has been higher than where it currently is. We'll go back. Okay, we have these highs. Nope, not higher. Let's just actually go into the monthly, because that'll give us a lot of data, right? When has price ever been as high as it is now? You know what I mean? And that's not the end all be all, but also let's look at where we've been going, right? Been all bullish all year. Here's January. Bullish all year with a slight retracement. And I'm starting to learn about seasonal tendencies. What I really need to do, he finally gave the chart, which is mrci.com, and so I can study like seasonal tendencies. So let me see if that site's still up, because that was also in 2016. So I'm not sure if it's still up. Yep, it is. More Research Center Inc. So this is how we can study seasonal tendencies. Let me I'm not gonna do it right now, but I will add this to my loading and everything. But anyways, that's just something more or less I want to check. So anyways, my point I was making is that price has exhausted liquidity in the term of what ICT talks about is that price seeks buy stops above here. Now he also explains that when price moves above these highs, all the positions that they attributed it at an old low, so here, previous lows I can outline that are more refined on lower time frame. Right now there's orders below them, and when we get up here, price drove up here. Why? To take out the buyers, or sorry, to take out the sellers who sold short here. Right, they get wiped out of the market. Buy side liquidity taken. Where else could we expect price to draw to? That's logical. What is the most logical level that you can expect price to draw to? Am I expecting price to draw all the way up here? Well, there's no real reference point as to why I would expect that. Here we are, level of buy side taken, and as I mentioned, we are not abandoning our bias until we see a reason to expect otherwise. And the way I see it as of now, price is consolidating, so that's what I'm looking at in terms of what price is doing. Right, here's weekly candles, and the daily it becomes more apparent that for the last week or so, last 2 weeks, we've been consolidating. So I'm going to leave it at that. We'll continue the study tomorrow, and yeah, peace.